Welcome to NHL King of the Hill. How it works is we have one NHL team at the top of the hill and the other 32 are going to be at the bottom. The team at the top of the hill is going to be the defender while the other 31 teams are trying to knock that team off. If the attacking team is able to beat the team on the top of the hill, then the winner will claim the new spot on the hill while the loser will move to the back of the line. And if the attacker loses to the team on top of the hill, then they will be eliminated. On top of this, the winning team from each matchup will be claiming one player away from the winning team, regardless whether you're an attacker or a defender. Now that we have an understanding of the rules, let's get right into it. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to Dean's World for the inspiration for this video. His channel will be linked down in the description below. So I went ahead and randomized the teams. The New York Islanders is going to be the first team on top of the mountain, and in our first matchup, we're going to see them taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto's going to be taking the lead heading into the first intermission with a 2-1 lead. After a scoreless second period, Aston Reese is going to get the Leafs on the board once again early in the third period. And in the final moments of this game, Cal Yarcrow is going to be able to score the empty netter, and Toronto's going to be taking this one 4-1. And with that win, they're going to be able to take one player away from the New York Islanders, and that's going to be Ilya Sorokin. I feel like adding a top 5 goalie is definitely something Toronto needs, and this is going to be a massive upgrade for them. And since I need to send a goalie over to the New York Islanders, I'm just going to give them Matt Murray. I don't want to give them Samsonov because then it doesn't really feel like a loss for them, if you know what I mean. With Toronto taking the lead at the top of the mountain, they're going to have to take on the Carolina Hurricanes next. Before we get into this matchup though, if your team is yet to be eliminated from NHL King of the Hill, you have to subscribe. And yes, I did plan on asking you guys to subscribe before any team is eliminated, so that means you all have to subscribe. And 75% of the people right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so you should subscribe right now. It's free, you'll get notified when I upload, and it helps more than you can imagine. The two teams are going to be exchanging goals in the first period, but in the second, Morgan Rielly's going to be scoring the lone goal, and Toronto's now got themselves a 3-2 lead. And the Leafs won't be done there because in the third period, Liljegren's going to score a power play goal, and they've got themselves a 2-goal lead now. And 2 goals is going to be more than enough because in the final seconds, Austin Matthews is going to score the empty netter, and they're eliminating the Carolina Hurricanes. And with the Hurricanes falling, we're going to be stealing a player away from them, and that's going to be Sebastian Aho. Moving on to our next matchup, the defense from Toronto is going to continue as they're going to be taking on the Nashville Predators. John Tavares is going to get the Leafs on the board first with a lone goal in the first period, but in the second period, these two teams are going to be exchanging goals, so Toronto still has their 1-goal lead. But in the third period, it looks like Nashville's offense is going to be waking up. Goals from Tomasino and Tyson Barrie are going to give Nashville the lead, and the Predators aren't going to be looking back after that, so they're going to be taking this one in a 3-2 win, and they're taking down the Leafs. And with the Toronto Maple Leafs following, that means they're going to be losing a player, and it's going to be Austin Matthews as he's headed over to Nashville. I've also made a rule where you have to steal a player from the actual team. Basically, if McDavid was on Toronto and then Toronto lost, I can't steal McDavid away from Toronto. I think that's probably the simplest terms. With Nashville taking the crown, they're going to have to take on the Los Angeles Kings next. After a scoreless first period, Kopitar's picking up a power play goal, and Nashville's got a 1-0 lead entering the second intermission. And halfway through the third, Kaliev's going to pick up a goal for himself, and the Kings have a 2-0 lead. Although things are looking great for the LA Kings, they might not have this one in the bag yet because Matt Duchene's going to be picking up a late one, and now we've got ourselves a 1-goal game. But it looks like time's just going to run out for the Nashville Predators, and they're going to be falling to the Los Angeles Kings in a 2-1 win. Now I might be making a slightly controversial move here. I'm going to be passing up on Roman Josi in order to acquire UC Saros. I feel like picking up an 89 overall goaltender in UC Saros is a much bigger upgrade than selecting Roman Josi. In exchange for Roman Josi, we're also going to be sending Phoenix Copley their way so they have enough goaltenders. LA is now taking the crown away from the Nashville Predators, so they got to take on the Detroit Red Wings next. Arvidsson's going to get the scoring started in the first period, and the Kings are going to build on that. They're picking up another 2 goals in the second, and they've got themselves a 3-0 lead. Dylan Larkin would be able to ruin the shutout with 7 minutes left in the game, but the Kings are going to be picking up another one, and they've got themselves a 4-1 lead. And 4 goals is going to be more than enough for the Los Angeles Kings, and they're eliminating the Detroit Red Wings. And from the Detroit Red Wings, we're picking up 89 overall Dylan Larkin. The next team that LA is going to have to take on is going to be the New York Rangers. Patrick Kane's going to get the scoring started in the first period, but then in the second, that's when the goals started coming. Drew Doughty might be able to pick up one for LA, but the Rangers are going to be potting another 2, and they've got themselves a 3-1 lead entering the intermission. Keandre Miller would score an early goal for the Rangers, but it might not be enough because the LA Kings are making a comeback, and we've got a 1-goal game in the final minute. But it doesn't look like the Los Angeles Kings are going to be able to mount a comeback as Tarasenko scoring the empty netter in the final seconds. The Rangers currently have a bunch of great offensive pieces, so I'm going to be passing up on Anze Kopitar to bring Drew Doughty to the team to help the defense. Our next team looking to get to the top of the hill is the Arizona Coyotes, so they got to take on the Rangers. Arizona's not beating the Rangers. Filippino's picking up 2 goals in the first period, but in the second period, Arizona's are going to be responding with 3 goals. The only problem is the Rangers are also scoring 3 goals, so it's still a 2-goal game. And Arizona, they're just not going to be able to mount a comeback in the third period, so the Rangers are taking this one 5-3. From the Arizona Coyotes, we're bringing in a fantastic playmaker in Clayton Keller. With the Arizona Coyotes being eliminated, we got another poverty franchise up next in the San Jose Sharks. San Jose's just catching strays right now, I'm sorry. The Rangers offense continues to roll as they're going to be picking up 2 goals in the first period, but the Sharks are able to respond in the second as they're going to be evening this one up heading into the intermission. And the San Jose offense just continues to roll. They're picking up another 2 goals, and they've got themselves a 4-3 lead heading heading into the final minutes. And in a shocking upset, right after I called them a poverty franchise, the San Jose Sharks are going to be taking down the New York Rangers. And now it's time to take away probably the most important piece to that New York Rangers team, Igor Shesterkin. And in exchange, we'll send them Kaapo Kähkönen. So don't worry, Rangers, you didn't come out empty-handed. With San Jose at the top of the hill, they're going to have their hands full in their next matchup with the Minnesota Wild. I definitely didn't expect to see San Jose at the top of the hill. I really didn't. Minnesota and San Jose are going to be exchanging goals in the first period, and late in the second period, we're going to see Gustav Nyquist picking up a goal, and Minnesota's now got themselves a 3-2 lead. Once again, goals are going to be exchanged between these two teams, but Minnesota still got themselves a 1-goal lead. And with the goalie pulled in the final 25 seconds, Matthew Boldy's going to end this one as he's picking up the empty netter. Minnesota's in desperate need of a superstar defenseman, so Erik Karlsson, welcome to the team. It's time for Minnesota to go on the defense as Winnipeg's going to be attacking next. Gaudreau's going to be picking up the lone goal in the first period. Minnesota and Winnipeg are going to be exchanging goals in the second period, but the Wild still have themselves a 1-goal lead. And they're going to expand on that lead heading into the third period as Oskar Sundqvist is going to be picking up a goal. But this is NHL 23. And we're watching the Winnipeg Jets, so you already know they're making a comeback. Mark Scheifele's going to be scoring one with 45 seconds left in the game, and he's keeping his team in this one. But it looks like the NHL 23 gods weren't paying attention this time around, as Kirill Kaprizov's picking up the empty netter, and the Minnesota Wild are eliminating the Winnipeg Jets. From the Winnipeg Jets, we're going to be adding Kyle Connor to the team. So with the Jets eliminated, we're going to see another Canadian team attacking next, and that's going to be the Calgary Flames. Back-to-back goals from the Minnesota Wild are going to give them the lead heading into the intermission. And the offense from Minnesota is not slowing down, as they're going to be picking up another 2 goals in the second period, and now they've got themselves a 2-goal lead. It might be deja vu, but the Minnesota Wild, they're going to be picking up another 2 goals in the third period, and now the score is 6-3. So I would say it's safe to say this one's all wrapped up. Before this one ends though, Elias Lindholm wants to pick up his 4th point of the night on a Mangiapane goal, and since Lindholm's picking up 4 points, I guess I'll add him to our team. Florida's going to be the next team up, looking to take the crown away from the Minnesota Wild. But it doesn't look like it's going to be happening, as Minnesota's going to be scoring 3 goals in the first period, and then they're going to add an insurance goal in the second. Okay, this game got out of hand real quick. It's 6-0 in the final seconds, and Florida, they're not getting shut out. They're going to be scoring 1. Carter Verhaeghe, he's making this one a 5-goal game, and Florida might be able to make the comeback. But because the Minnesota Wild are an incredibly petty franchise, Kyle Connor's going to be scoring in the final 3 seconds to make this a 6-goal game. That's incredibly petty, what can I say? With Minnesota's 4th win in a row, they're going to be taking a player away from the Florida Panthers now, and that's going to be Matthew Tkachuk. But the real question is, can they take a player away from the Buffalo Sabres, because that's who's up next. And things are looking good for Minnesota after the first period, because they've got themselves a 2-0 lead. And after a scoreless second period, I don't know what just happened to the Minnesota Wild, but Buffalo scoring 4 unanswered, and they're going to be taking this game in a 4-2 win. That was a monumental collapse from the Minnesota Wild. That's a tough one to watch. And because they lost, they're going to be losing their best player, and that's going to be Kirill Kaprizov. So that's going to be a massive upgrade for the Buffalo Sabres. But I think it's safe to say this next game is going to be the most important. The Edmonton Oilers, and Connor McDavid's on the line. And who's going to be scoring in the first period? Well, that's Connor McDavid, and he's helping Edmonton take a 2-1 lead entering the intermission. Buffalo and Edmonton are going to be exchanging goals in the second, so it's still a 1-goal game. And in the third period, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is going to be scoring halfway through, so now it's a 2-goal game. But the Buffalo Sabres are going to keep this a close game, because in the final minute, Jeff Skinner is going to be beating Stuart Skinner, and it's now a 1-goal game. And there's still tons of time left. But it looks like there just isn't enough time, as the Edmonton Oilers are taking down the Buffalo Sabres in a 4-3 game. And the Edmonton Oilers are going to be getting a fantastic upgrade to their defense, as they're going to be picking up Rasmus Dahlin. I think it's safe to say that Edmonton's going to go on a bit of a run here, because look at the next 3 teams up. Montreal, Vancouver, and Chicago. Respectfully, I don't see any of these teams beating Edmonton. And you might realize why I stopped at only 3 teams. Because that 4th team is coming for Edmonton. We're stealing McDavid away. The game against Montreal is basically done in the first period, as Edmonton's going to be picking up 3 goals. And they're going to build on that after a scoreless second period, and it's now a 5-1 game. And I think it's safe to say Montreal's not going to be making a 4-goal comeback in the final minute, so Edmonton's going to be taking this one away. From the Montreal Canadiens, we're going to see Nick Suzuki leaving the team to join the Edmonton Oilers. And next up for Edmonton on their schedule, that's going to be the Vancouver Canucks. It shouldn't really be a surprise, but Edmonton's going to have the lead after the first period, as they're up 2-1. But surprisingly, in the second period, Vancouver's really competing with the Oilers, and they've evened this game up. It looks like the defense on Edmonton's going to be letting them down once again, as Vancouver's picking up 2 more goals in the third period, and they've got the lead late in the game. But in the final seconds, it looks like the offense for Edmonton's finally going to wake up, as Ryan McLeod's going to be found on the doorstep. He's burying this one in the back of the net, and we're going to be headed to overtime. And in overtime, of course, there's only one man that can save the day for the Edmonton Oilers. That's going to be Connor McDavid. I mean, technically there's 2 guys. Leon Draisaitl could also be in that conversation, but outside of those 2 guys, no one's going to be playing hero for this team. But they might have just picked up their 3rd hero, because Elias Pettersson's now on the team. Normally I would just skip this matchup, because Chicago is clearly not beating Edmonton, but based on what Vancouver did, anything's possible. And after the first period, Chicago's proven that, as they have a 1-0 lead. And then I remembered Peter Mrazek was in net for the Chicago Blackhawks, and Edmonton's picking up 4. I mean, technically that's not Peter Mrazek's fault. Look at the team around him. You put Vasilevsky on the Chicago Blackhawks, his goals against is probably a 350. In the third period, Chicago and Edmonton are going to be exchanging goals, but it's not going to be enough for Chicago to get back into this game, so Edmonton's taking this one away 6-3. And since Chicago has such a fantastic defense, we're going to be taking their best defender away in Seth Jones. He's also the best overall on the team, so 86 overall Seth Jones to play our 3rd defensive pairing. I guess I'll take it. But it looks like Edmonton's runs over because the St. Louis Blues are up next. You might as well just hand Connor McDavid over now. So currently, Binner's not really putting up a masterclass, so we're down 2-1 in the game. But I feel a Jordan Binnington masterclass coming on. Okay, I was kidding. We're now up 4-2. How are we up 4-2? So it doesn't look like we're getting a Jordan Binnington masterclass. We're actually getting a Stuart Skinner masterclass. I shouldn't really say a Stuart Skinner masterclass. We're getting an Edmonton defense masterclass because we just know they're such a fantastic defensive team. And with 6 goals, that's going to be an easy one for St. Louis as they're taking down the Edmonton Oilers. And Connor McDavid, welcome to the St. Louis Blues. I did not rig this. I feel like every time St. Louis does good in any of these videos, the immediate assumption is I'm rigging it. Trust me, I could not be bothered to rig it. I refuse to sit here for an extra like 5-10 minutes just to rig it for St. Louis. I'm not wasting my time doing that. By the way, we have Washington up next. After 20 minutes, St. Louis is sitting good with a 2-0 lead. And after a scoreless second period, Washington and St. Louis are going to be exchanging a few goals, but we've still got ourselves a 2-goal lead. And 2 goals is going to be more than enough, so we're taking down the Washington Capitals. After picking up a fantastic playmaker in Connor McDavid, of course, we got to pick up a fantastic goal scorer in Alexander Ovechkin. With Washington eliminated and Alexander Ovechkin now in the St. Louis Blues, we're going to have to take on the New Jersey Devils. Nico Hischier is going to be picking up the lone goal in the first period, and after a scoreless second period, Justin Falk's going to be getting my boys on the board in the third period with a shorthanded goal, and then Verana, he's going to be picking up a goal of his own to give us the lead. And I don't think 1 goal is enough for the St. Louis Blues, so Connor McDavid is going to be picking up the empty netter, and we're taking this one 3-1. And with another win from the St. Louis Blues, that means another player is going to be joining the team, and it's going to be Jack Hughes. The next matchup for the St. Louis Blues is going to be the Ottawa Senators. Justin Falk's going to be picking up a power play goal in the first period to give St. Louis the lead, and in the second, we're going to see the two teams exchanging a few goals, but St. Louis is still going to have a 1-goal lead heading into the second intermission. Braden Shen's going to pick up an early goal in the third period, and St. Louis is going to think they have it made, but Alex DeBrincat's going to be scoring a goal late in the third period, and they're keeping this game close. And with the goalie pulled from Ottawa, they're going to be going to work. Claude Giroux's bringing the puck into the zone, over to DeBrincat over to Brady Tkachuk. He's beating Jordan Binnington, and we're going to need a bit of overtime. And early into the extra frame, we got the Russian connection going, but Buchnevich is going to send it over to Alexander Ovechkin, and from an impossible angle, somehow he's beating Cam Talbot, and the St. Louis Blues are going to be surviving another day while the Ottawa Senators are falling. And from the Ottawa Senators, we got to improve the defense in St. Louis a bit, so I'm bringing Thomas Chabot onto the team. Honestly, I have no clue how St. Louis has now won 4 games in a row. It doesn't make sense, but hey, I'm not going to complain about it, so let's beat the Dallas Stars next. Alexander Ovechkin is going to be picking up the first goal of the game late in the second period, and in the third period, St. Louis is going to explode for 3 more goals, but Dallas is picking up 2, so they're keeping this somewhat close. But I'm not really comfortable with only a 2-goal lead, so let's pick up 1 more, and Alexander Ovechkin, he's going to be burying this one for the hat trick, and St. Louis, they got their 5th goal of the game, and they're taking this one away. Now, this shouldn't be a controversial decision, but I think it's going to be one. We're taking Jake Ottinger away from the Dallas Stars. Now, you might be thinking, how is this controversial? He's a great upgrade from Jordan Binnington. Jordan Binnington's been locking it down the past 5 games. He's won 5 straight starts. Now I'm changing it up by putting Jake Ottinger in net. This could be a mistake for us, but honestly, I think we're going to need all the help we can get as we got the Boston Bruins up next. David Pasternak's going to be picking up a power play goal in the first period to get Boston on the board. And then the second, the Boston Bruins offense is going to keep on rolling. They're picking up another 2 goals, and they've got themselves a 3-0 lead heading into the intermission. And in the final seconds, I regret picking up Jake Ottinger. Jordan Binnington was 5-0 in his St. Louis King of the Hill debut. Jake Ottinger comes over to the team, and guess what he does? Loses immediately. Mans, if you ask me. And with Boston winning, that means they're going to be stealing a St. Louis Blue away from my team, and it's going to be Jordan Kyrou. You're going to be missed, my guy. In Boston's first defense, they're going to be taking on the newest franchise in the NHL, the Seattle Kraken. And after a scoreless first period, Charlie Coyle is going to be scoring late in the second to get Boston on the board. And somehow it looks like 1 goal is going to be enough for the Boston Bruins, but just in case, Patrice Bergeron is going to be picking up the empty netter, and Boston's taking this one 2-0. Since they already have 1 St. Louis Blue on the team, we might as well pick up a former one in Vince Dunn. This next matchup is going to be a lot tougher than people are expecting as we have the Columbus Blue Jackets up next. And why is this going to be a bit tougher? Columbus is 100% healthy, so they've got some dogs on this team. Marchenko's going to allow the Blue Jackets to take the lead entering the first intermission, but goals from both Greer and Bertuzzi are going to help Boston even this one up heading into the second intermission. Krejci and Laine are going to be exchanging goals in the third period, and those are going to be the only goals of the third period, so we're going to need a bit of overtime. In the final 5 minutes of overtime, the puck's going to work its way over to the slot. Charlie Coyle is getting a shot off, but Hathaway's going to get his stick on that. He's deflecting this one to the back of the net, and the Boston Bruins are eliminating the Columbus Blue Jackets. The one thing the Boston Bruins need is a bit more goal scoring, because clearly they don't have enough of that, so Patrick Laine, I'm bringing you onto the team. But this next matchup's definitely going to be tougher than Columbus, as we have a healthy Colorado Avalanche team, and Colorado's not going to be messing around. The Avs and Bruins are going to be exchanging goals in the first period, but in the second period, back-to-back goals from Nathan MacKinnon and Nichushkin are giving Colorado the lead entering the second intermission. Boston's offense wouldn't be able to get clicking in the third period, so they're going to have to pull their goalie. And with the net empty, Cale Makar is going to be able to pot the insurance goal, and Colorado's taking this one away from Boston. And that was a big loss for Boston in two ways. They're falling off the top of the hill, but they're also going to be losing David Pastrnak. After taking David Pastrnak away from the Boston Bruins, the Colorado Avalanche are looking to make a statement, and they have the Anaheim Ducks up next. So I think we know where this is heading. Anaheim's going to be picking up the first goal of the game late in the first period, and they're going to build on that lead in the second period with the help of a Cam Fowler goal, so they've got a 2-goal lead entering the second intermission. And it shouldn't really be a surprise that the Colorado Avalanche aren't folding. They're picking up 2 goals in the third period, and we're going to need a bit of overtime. With Colorado on the power play in overtime, some nice passing from the Avalanche is going to free up Mikko Rantanen. He's going to get the feed, and he's going to bury this one-timer in the back of the net to steal this game away from Anaheim. And with Anaheim being eliminated, Troy Terry's going to be joining the Colorado Avalanche. So we've made it through the first round, and we're on to the second with our final 16 teams. Of course, Colorado's still on the top of the hill, and our next challenge is going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning. Colorado would get off to a quick 2-goal lead, but Eric Chernak's going to make this a 1-goal game entering the intermission. That 1-goal deficit's not going to be lasting long though, as Past is picking up a power play goal in the second, and it's back to a 2-goal game. Troy Terry's going to help the Colorado Avalanche build on that lead as he's picking up a goal in the third period, but before Tampa gets eliminated, Kucherov's going to be picking up a goal with 10 seconds left, but they still got to score 2 more goals in 10 seconds, and that's not going to happen, so Tampa's falling to Colorado. And with Colorado eliminating the Tampa Bay Lightning, I feel like there's only one clear choice: Andrei Vasilevsky. Easily a top 3 goaltender in the league, if not the best. I'm bringing him onto this team, and with the defense Colorado has, this team might be unstoppable. But in order to be unstoppable, they got to defeat the rest of these teams, and Vegas is up next. Colorado's defense is going to get the offense going as Cale Makar and Samuel Girard are both picking up goals in the first period. In the second period, the forwards are finally getting in the mix as Nichushkin and Troy Terry are both picking up goals. Riley Smith would be able to pick up a goal in the third period, but Vegas isn't going to be able to mount the comeback, so they're going to be falling to the Colorado Avalanche in a 4-2 game. And I know I said the defense from Colorado was absolutely amazing, but I want to improve that a bit, so I'm going to bring Alex Pietrangelo onto the team. This next matchup should be an easy one for the Colorado Avalanche, given the past 2 teams they beat. They have the Philadelphia Flyers up next. Colorado is going to be holding the Philadelphia Flyers to 4 shots in the first period, and Mikko Rantanen, he's going to be scoring the first goal of the game. But in the second, it looks like the Flyers offense is going to be waking up as they're going to be evening this game with a Cam Atkinson goal. It was only a matter of time before the offense on Colorado started rolling, and Pasta and Landeskog are both picking up goals, so Colorado is going to be taking this one in a 3-1 win. In order to improve the forward core a bit more, Sean Couturier is going to be joining the team, and he's going to be a good depth center for this team. The Colorado Avalanche are absolutely rolling, and now they have the Pittsburgh Penguins up next. And if they can beat this team, they're going to be adding a guy like Sid the Kid to their already elite team. But Sidney Crosby, he's not going to willingly join this Colorado Avalanche team. He's going to put up a bit of a fight. He's picking up a goal in the first period, and in the second period, a shorthanded goal from each team is keeping this a 1-goal game for Pittsburgh. But there's one thing we've learned about the Colorado Avalanche by now: they're eventually going to score goals, and they're picking up 3 goals in the third period, so Colorado now has the lead late in the game. In the final minute of the third period, Evgeny Malkin's going to be recovering his own rebound behind the net. He's sending it over to Sidney Crosby, and he's going to be scoring his second of the game to make this a 1-goal game. But with the goalie pull, David Pastrnak's bringing the puck into the offensive zone. He's burying the empty netter, and Colorado's going to be taking this one away, and they're also going to be taking Sidney Crosby away from the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think the Colorado Avalanche might be on the longest win streak of the video now, as they've won 5 straight, and they're looking for their 6th straight as they take on the New York Islanders next. So it looks like the New York Islanders are going to be folding very early in this game, as Colorado's going to be picking up 3 unanswered in the first period. But I gotta take that back, because the Islanders, they're starting to push back. They've made this a 1-goal game heading into the second intermission. The Avs and Islanders are going to be exchanging goals in the third period, so they're keeping this a 1-goal game. But it looks like 1 goal is going to be the difference makers. The Colorado Avalanche are winning their 6th straight game, and from the New York Islanders, we're going to be picking up Ryan Pollock. Now this might be a controversial decision, but I don't think it should be, because look at this defense now: Devon Taves and Cale Makar, Samuel Girard and Alex Pietrangelo, and Bo Byram and Ryan Pollock on your third pairing. We already know what the forward core is comprised of. And this team has Vasilevsky in net. They might not lose a single game for the rest of this video. I mean, it's highly unlikely because this is EA simulation, and if they are to lose another game, it's going to be to the San Jose Sharks. But in order to get to the San Jose Sharks, they still got to win 4 straight games, and they got to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs next. Lars Eller is going to pick up the lone goal in the first period, and then Sidney Crosby is going to be picking up the lone goal in the second period. And in case 2 goals wasn't enough, David Pastrnak is going to be scoring with 2 seconds left in the game, and the Colorado Avalanche are going to be taking down the Toronto Maple Leafs in a shutout. Since Austin Matthews was already claimed by the Nashville Predators, I guess we'll bring Mitch Marner onto the team, because why not? And speaking of Austin Matthews, we're taking on the Nashville Predators next, and we're going to have to go against him. JT Compher is going to get the scoring started in the first period, and Arturi Lehkonen is going to continue it into the second, so Colorado now has a 2-0 lead heading into the third period. Austin Matthews would finally be able to get on the board for the Nashville Predators, but that's not before Pasta picks up Colorado's 3rd goal of the game. And just in case the 2-goal lead wasn't enough, Lars Eller is going to be scoring with just over a minute left in the game, and the Colorado Avalanche are taking down the Nashville Predators for their 8th straight win. So I could have went with Philip Forsberg to help the forward core here, but I just can't pass up on a guy like Roman Josi. In saying that, I did pass up on Roman Josi for UC Saros for the LA Kings, so 99% of the time I'm not passing up on Roman Josi. Under certain circumstances I will. And speaking of UC Saros, that's who we're going to be taking on next, as he's going to be leading the LA Kings. The Kings and Avalanche are both going to be picking up 2 goals in the first period, so this one's tied up after 1. But in the second period, period, the offense from Colorado continues to roll and they're picking up another 2 goals. And that's exactly what's happening in the third period. Another 2 from Colorado. They've got 6 in the game, and that's going to be more than enough as they're taking down the LA Kings. The Colorado Avalanche look absolutely fantastic right now, but they could use a bit more center depth, so I'll bring Anze Kopitar onto the team. We're entering the third round, and the Colorado Avalanche are still at the top of the hill. This team has now won 9 straight games. Let's see if they can make it 10. Ironically, the one guy that's going to make it hard on the Colorado Avalanche is going to be Clayton Keller. He's picking up the first goal of the game. And when we entered the second period, who's going to be the guy scoring once again? That's Clayton Keller. Ain't no way a guy on the Arizona Coyotes is going to be taking down the Colorado Avalanche. So I should have known we're not going to be losing to a guy that came from the Arizona Coyotes. So we're going to be headed to overtime in a 2-2 game. And just 2.5 minutes into overtime, some nice passing is going to find Nathan MacKinnon wide open in the slot. He's going to be team 1 up, beating Kaapo Kähkönen, and the Colorado Avalanche have now won 10 straight games. 10 straight's beyond ridiculous, especially for EA simulation. To win 10 straight? Nah, this team's actually built different. And we might as well make them a bit stronger, so I'll bring Artemi Panarin onto the team, because why not? So here's what the forwards on this team are looking like. Panarin, MacKinnon passed on the first line. Rantanen, Crosby, Mitch Marner on the second. Landeskog, Couturier, and Troy Terry on the third line. And on the fourth line, Lehkonen, Kopitar, and Nichushkin. I'm speechless right now. I'm not surprised this team's winning games, but to win 10 straight, gotta give respect where respect is due. A little while ago, I said if the Colorado Avalanche were to lose, they would probably lose to a bad team like the San Jose Sharks. And then this team proceeded to win 5 straight games to take on the San Jose Sharks. Didn't see that one coming. Igor Shesterkin's going to be holding it down for San Jose in the first period as he's keeping this one scoreless. But in the second, Colorado's finally getting on the board as they're picking up 2 goals. And it looks like 2 goals from the Colorado Avalanche is all it's going to take, and they're taking down the San Jose Sharks. So I guess we'll add Tomas Hertl onto the team because Erik Karlsson's already been claimed. But the fact that a guy like Tomas Hertl is going to be playing on our 4th line explains how dominant this Colorado team is. The dominance from Colorado doesn't even make sense right now, but if they win their next 2 games, we're going to be entering the final round with Colorado still at the top. But I might be getting ahead of myself because after a scoreless first period, Minnesota and Colorado are both picking up 2 goals, so we're entering the third period in a tie game. But entering the third period tied with Colorado isn't an ideal situation as Kopitar is going to be picking up the lone goal of the third period, and that's going to be giving Colorado their 12th straight win. Might be 13th. I've completely lost count at this point. So I didn't plan for this to happen because I didn't expect it to even be possible, but the Colorado Avalanche actually can't get better from the Minnesota Wild. The top 2 guys in the Minnesota Wild that we can pick up are Marc-Andre Fleury and Matt Zuccarello. Zuccarello is an 86 overall, which is worse than all of our forwards, and Marc-Andre Fleury is an 86 overall, who's worse than Vasilevsky. So we're not adding anyone here. At this point, I don't think Colorado's going to lose another game. So Buffalo, just make it a quick one. Nathan MacKinnon's going to be picking up the first goal of the game after a scoreless first period. In the third period, it'd be no surprise, but Colorado's going to continue to build on that lead as Mikko Rantanen's going to be picking up another one. And in the final seconds, Ryan Pollock's going to be picking up the empty netter. A 3-0 win for the Colorado Avalanche, and we're entering the final round. Before we enter the final round, though, we got to add another forward onto the team because this is definitely an upgrade for us. 91 overall Tage Thompson. So here we are in the final 4, and Colorado's still at the top of the hill. At this point, I'm really considering just combining these 3 teams, and if they can beat Colorado, then I'll just consider it a win for all 3 teams. But I'm not doing that, so Colorado, you have Edmonton up next. Artemi Panarin's going to get the goal scoring started halfway through the first period, and in the second, we're going to see goals exchanged between Kostin and Landeskog, so it's still a 1-goal game. So Colorado, they're going to go on to pick up another 2 goals in the third period, and that's going to be more than enough, and they're taking Edmonton down to 4-1 win. Since Connor McDavid isn't here, I guess I'll add Leon Draisaitl onto the team. It's not like this team needs any more firepower anyway, so I never thought I'd say these words. I really hope St. Louis loses here, and the only reason for that is there will be 9 million comments saying, you rigged this, you rigged that, oh my god, the video's rigged if St. Louis somehow wins this game. By rights, there is no reason St. Louis should even be in this game. Colorado should beat them like 10-0. But in that slim chance St. Louis wins, this is not rigged. Colorado's defense is going to be leading the offense in the first period as Pietrangelo and Josi are both picking up goals. And in the second period, the forwards are getting in the mix as Nathan MacKinnon's picking up a power play goal. Here we are late in the third period, and I think it's safe to say this game's all wrapped up. Colorado's picking up 2 more goals with the help of Mikko Rantanen and Sidney Crosby, so they're taking this one in a 5-2 win. Before we get to the final though, we have to add one of the greatest players in the league to the Colorado Avalanche. And of course, I'm talking about Robert Thomas. And here we are, the final 2 teams, the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Boston Bruins. Colorado's winning, I can tell you that right now. Before we get there though, let's just look at this Avalanche team. On the first line, you have Panarin, Draisaitl, and Pasta. On the second, Mikko Rantanen, Nathan MacKinnon, and Mitch Marner. The third line's a bit weaker though with Landeskog, Sidney Crosby, and Tage Thompson. And our fourth line would be full of a bunch of scrubs, but of course we have Robert Thomas here and he's going to carry the way. The defense is looking absolutely abysmal. Roman Josi and Cale Makar on the first pairing, Devon Taves and Pietrangelo on the second, and on the third pairing, Samuel Girard and Ryan Pollock. I'm surprised this team can even win games. And in between the pipes, this scrub named Andre Vasilevsky. Nah, this this team's cooked. Colorado and Boston are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. In the second period, Colorado's going to be scoring back-to-back goals, but Boston's bouncing back fairly quick, and they're keeping this game tied up heading into the third period. But would you be surprised if the Colorado Avalanche offense is going to show up once again in the third period? Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar both picking up goals, and the Colorado Avalanche are going to go on to defeat the Boston Bruins after winning 17 straight games. It was either 16 or 17 straight. There is no reason this Colorado Avalanche team should have won 17 straight games on NHL 23 simulation. I'm not sure if I have any proof of this, but I remember in my very first NHL 23 simulation, the very first season I simulated on day one of this game's release, the Chicago Blackhawks went on to win the Stanley Cup. Here we are 6 months later as the Chicago Blackhawks finished second last in the entire league and won the draft lottery. That just shows you how wildly inaccurate NHL 23 simulation is and how absolutely anything can happen.